and Alex came to my table to play that game because he wanted to find out what Pathfinder was. Like, and I ran Pathfinder, and the more I found out about 5e, the more I was like, "What the fuck are we playing Pathfinder for?" Uh, it was sort of weird because it's a really strange story, but but I don't know. I would never. I don't know that I would go. I saw somebody say, as much as I love what Paizo's doing, I don't know that I could go back to Math Finder. I sort of have to agree with that. Like man, I would, I would, I guess I could, but I don't know that I want to play that game.
Yeah, I played one Pathfinder 2e game a year and a half or so ago for Jasper's Game Day, and I enjoyed it, but I thought this system is overly complicated to no benefit.
5e is so elegant.
It just doesn't do anything better than 5e does, and it complicates everything. Right. And it tries to make virtually the same game, but it comes at it in a complicated way.
I can't disagree with a single thing you just said.
And I would have fun playing it. I absolutely would, but it's just overly complicated.
I really wish, Ed, you and I sat at Gamehole Con and I had Monty Cook's Cypher System book in my hands, and it was 40% off, and I didn't buy it. And I didn't buy it. And I wish I had. Because
I've got a number of systems on my shelf that I want to play, and maybe now's a good time to break them out.
I really want to play I played Kids on Bikes with Scott Stripmatter, who plays on the Warbler game. Over New Year's, we had a couple old friends from South Bend come to his house, and we played Kids on Bikes, and it was so much fun. So much fun. Kids on Bikes is a great game, great mechanics. It lends itself to a very short, like three session game, and I want to play more of those games. Like, I want to play Fiasco. I want to play Kids on Bikes. I want to play S for Genesis. I want to play.
I want to play Tales from the Loop. I want to play some Cyberpunk.
I want to play Tales from the Loop really bad. There's so many great games out there, and we're not playing them because we're like, well, D&D sells. Everybody will play D&D.
I think the biggest reason to me is that D&D is easy to figure out. It's easy to teach. It's easy to play. And if I had played any of those other games as much, they probably would be too. But I haven't.
I think that people associate role-playing games with swords and magic. And that any time you play a game that doesn't have swords and magic in it, that it's already asking too much. Because people are already like, oh, I'm going to have to pretend.
Unless it's like Star Wars or a known franchise.
I agree. AI or some other IP helps. But, yeah, I think it's tough. And when I played Kids on Bikes, I was like, this is what shows me the power of role-playing games. You can play a role-playing game set in 1980s America, small town, and have a great time. Like, you don't have to have a sword, and you don't have to have magic, and you don't have to have a BBEG.
I mean, let's be honest. I'd like to have a sword and magic in real life. So that's part of it.
I agree. I think there's that.
That's how we clean up Washington.
You're gonna take out Joe Biden with a sword?
No.
If anybody's listening, I'm not condoning this.
No, me neither.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. Oh, all right. I'm committing to a drunken evening.
Could you imagine if there was magic though? You could cast suggestion on Joe Biden and have him do whatever the hell you wanted. But
pretty sure that already exists. I'm pretty sure that already happens.
Magic of coin.
Yeah,
So I
I
suggest
guess.
you stop smelling that little girl.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
Dude. Dude.
Chris Jones back in the house.
Yeah, the bad boy of the internet spoke. All right. Do we want to hang out here or do we want to raid 20 sites?
I don't know.
I'll just hang out.
Gen 2's a commitment.
It is a commitment.
Let's see if they're playing Game of Thrones.
Well, if they're
No,
watching, if
they're watching Game of Thrones.
no,
Watch fucking Game of
then
Thrones.
I'm not going over there.
And
No.
this place is just fine.
This is a great place to hang out. Then I don't
Yeah.
want to get online to watch TV with people.
I actually
Definitely
going
can
to
see the
peace
appeal.
out for the night.
What are you doing?
All right, Tony.
You
I'm
out?
gonna have to
See you
peace
later.
out for the night.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
I have to
yeah,
get up
it's
way
almost
too early
11.
this morning,
Hey, Tony.
and have to get up way too early tomorrow.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this person, but I'm gonna ask.
Oh.
When will I see a dragon?
I have tried twice now with Dusty's pink dragon, and it's very frustrating. I do have another one that should be coming out of the kiln to glaze. Within the next week.
I only ask because I want your artwork in my house. I'm not trying
Yes.
to rush you. Just
I appreciate that. I do. I really do. Pink is the hardest color,
yeah.
just to be honest.
Well, tell her to
there's
fuck
all
up
kinds
with
of-
the pink. Tell her she can't have
There's
pink.
all kinds of chemistry reasons for it, but yeah.
She doesn't just like pink. She likes
Send
other
her a
colors.
purplish one and call it good.
Oh, no. Well, it's still going to be that color, but I've learned how to actually use that glaze and not make it look like Pepto-Bismol in places.
Her favorite color is actually yellow. So, but I don't know that she wants a yellow dragon.
Yeah, it'd look like Puff.
Wait, she doesn't want a yellow dragon, but she wants a pink dragon?
I don't know why she wants a pink dragon.
Pinkish purples is what she said, and she
Yeah.
wants it shimmery.
Yeah, she wants to look really shimmery.
Ooh, shimmery.
You should upcharge the fuck out of her, even though it's gonna hit my house too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell her you're upcharging her, and that it's her fucking Karen fucking request for shimmery purple pink.
Funny.
Send her all the failed ones and charge.
Yes. This is how hard it was, you fuck.
Yeah, but you guys know Dusty. She's just going to use them and be like, screw you, I like all of them.
She will.
Yep.
She will. She'll be like, these are all amazing. I love all of them.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, Tony, I'm sorry. I don't want to keep you on, but
So, yeah, that's actually why I wasn't on video tonight. I apologize, but we had a special order that's kind of a big order.
were you glazing while we were playing?
I was, yeah. We had a custom order for one of our big bird bats, and they asked for turtles in it, and we actually came up with an idea that we are super excited about. So I was under the gun with the glazing tonight, and I got to keep my fingers crossed, man, because if this doesn't turn out, I got to start over again for this too.
That's a lot of clay too, right? Like if it doesn't go.
Yeah, it's so I mean it'll sell even if it doesn't look like what I want it to, but it's they're about after the first firing they're about 18 inches across, the bird bats, and I think it's probably 4 or 5 inches deep. And this one has 3 little 3-dimensional turtles that are crawling from what should look like sand into water.
That's cool.
In the bird bath. Yeah, it's I'll hold it up and see if you guys.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I doubt you're gonna. So it doesn't have the right colors in it because. Oh, hold on.
Oh man, that's all.
Let me turn this blur shit off.
Yeah, I want to see this.
So the colors, it's not like paint. before you fire, glaze doesn't look the right color.
Right.
Where the fuck do I have to
Settings.
go here? Jesus Christ.
Settings
Voice
and video. Then
Scroll down
normal.
here.
There you go. You're all set. Oh, that's cool.
The turtles are by my face there.
Yeah.
And then the gray will turn like a sandy brown, and the red is the deepest blue. And then this side is
red?
a glaze. Yeah, this red over here.
Yeah.
Turns. It has a lot of iron in it, so that's why it looks red before it fires.
Okay.
But that's the darkest blue, so you can see how I have that white in there to look like the surf.
What's the gray gonna look like? The 3-dimensional to the surf
over here?
No.
Sand.
No. In the white surf, you have gray.
Oh yeah, it's sorry, it's actually a light green. The lighting's just not good.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's a turquoise color so it's going to look like shallow water to deep water.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It should look like shallow water to deep water.
I can't wait to see that. That's really cool.
I'll definitely post pictures of it on Instagram and whatnot, but I can throw it up in the chat too.
I would love to see it.
And behind me, I don't know if you can see it, I upgraded from a photo box to actual photo backdrops that I can roll up.
Nice.
And get different ones. We did that over the holidays because we're making shit that didn't fit in our photo booth.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, good times.
Kate the best. So.
Yeah, it's a little weird being a starving artist when I'm going on 50 rather than when I was 22, like everybody else would have. But it's all good.
Feed the heart, man.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. I'm a whole lot more content now than I ever was before.
I know it.
So, anyway, I will catch you guys all online later on, and when we're ready to start scheduling for next month.
That'll start happening tomorrow. I'll start sending out schedules.
Fantastic.
Tomorrow. All right.
I'll watch from the second market of the weekend tomorrow.
Nice. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care, guys.
See you, Tom.
Yep.
And
I'm drunk.
Same.
That happens.
Well, I have a question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
Would it have been a good thing if I would have failed that saving throw?
No.
In the water?
Yeah.
Would be a thing.
Well, good. No. I don't even think you would have learned things that would have been worth the damage. Yeah, so no. You guys haven't really, Ed has heard me say this because he's in the table game. But I'm not writing this like you would run into only things that are appropriate for your level. Okay? Did I say that to you guys before?
I thought you did.
Okay.
But I might be remembering you saying it about the table game.
So I'm writing things that make sense from a narrative standpoint. Like, you will run into things that will absolutely kill you. 100%, one shot dead, you're done. You will run into those things. I will telegraph heavily when you're in that situation, because I don't think it's fun for players to run into things that are going to kill them and they don't have a chance to run away. That's not fun. That's just not fun. But I am not going to say, there is every possibility within the next 2 sessions that you'll run into a lich.
Oh.
A lich, when you're 4th level, will kill all of you with no trouble.
For sure.
So, just bear that in mind. Like, not everything you run into is tackleable. So there are times for you to go, oh shit, we gotta go. I think because this comes from two things. One is Call of Cthulhu does not write the games as if you can fight them, and I think that's interesting. The second is from the current Critical Role campaign. And as much as I don't know that I would use it as an example, when, God, who all played this? I know Ed and I did. In Casey's Tyranny of Dragons campaign, there was a bad guy who beat the shit out of us, and that made the story interesting. So having a bad guy that you have to work to take down is interesting. So I don't want you to not know who the bad guy is until the very end, until you're ready to take them on. I would love you to have a grudge. I would love you to have a sense, you know? So some of that stuff is being built in. So if I haven't said that before, I guess I should say that now. Not everything. So those lamprey baths probably wouldn't have killed Cove.
Well, not quickly.
Like, if ever anybody had noticed that Cove dove in and went to help him, he'd be fine. But Cove by himself, could have been bad. Could have been bad. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Going forward, you guys should know that I'm not actually trying to balance these encounters at all. I'm putting in what I think is appropriate for the story, and it might not be appropriate for your level. Does that make sense? Okay. And I will telegraph heavily that you guys are outclassed. Telegraph it heavily, so that you're not like, I had no idea how dangerous this was. You will have a very clear indication that I am of the mind that if this guy acts with his full power, or this person acts with their full power, you're in trouble. So, like, for example, a reskin of an Empyrean is very likely. And that's a
Hey,
challenge.
spoilers.
That's a challenge for a 15th level party. A very real challenge for a 15th level party. So you guys would be toast immediately. So that's the kind of thing that I just want you to be aware of. Just as an expectation setting thing. Not that I'm trying to kill you. I don't actually want to kill a single player. I am not into that at all. In fact, I think it's boring to kill players. I think it's actually boring to kill players. I want players to just be aware that they're in peril and make decisions. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Will it make sense when I bite off more than I can chew anyways?
Well, I don't mind that, though. If you want to go down early, in a blaze of glory, I think that's a fun story. And then everybody's like, remember Bone Splitter? How he went down in that amazing blaze of glory. That was amazing. He was one of the Bridges folk. Which now I want to make part of the Navyshla lore, that there has always been a Bridges.
Well, not one.
I think what I want to do is have 2 shots every month. That's actually been the thing on my head lately. Like,
2 shots?
2 shots. We're gonna play 2 Wednesdays in a row. We're gonna play, and it'll be done after that. So we're gonna play.
A complete story in 2 sessions.
we're just gonna play this game, and we're done over 2 Wednesdays, and it's over. That's the thing that I think would be interesting, and we could try a lot of different game systems and probably have a shit ton of fun, honestly. Uh, you know, because I think it's easy to get overly serious about D&D, and like if we were to play a 2-shot of Tales of the Loop, is that even possible, Ed?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I only played it in one game at a con, and we played a complete story in that session.
Yeah. So, and if you play like I keep thinking about Ed, Robin, and I went at GameholeCon. We played a Call of Cthulhu game, and nobody gave a shit what happened at the end because we knew it was going to end, and we had so much fun. Like, and part of it was because we were in a hotel room and being silly. You know,
People died multiple times.
people died over and over and over again, and it was a weird ass time traveling horror story, and it was bizarre ass, and I think we had a great night. And I think 2 shots might be a lot of campaigns are tons of fun. I don't want to stop playing campaigns. I like doing them, but I would love to do some more. Like, this is just a game. We're playing this one little scenario. I don't know. Maybe I'm over talking. I'll stop talking.
I'll stop talking.
Well, Chris, what are you going to fill it in with? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
What you have a real problem right here, which is I'm gummy high, which means I'm just like real quiet.
What's
I
the
don't know.
difference between gummy high and smoking high?
Really no difference.
Okay.
But
Not
here's the
true.
difference.
When he's smoking, you can't shut him up.
Yeah, I will say that. When I am like smoking, I feel like my highness is like in my ears, in my eyes, in my face, and it's like in my head. Like I don't know how to explain that, but I feel like pressure differences in my eyes and ears, and
From
um,
smoking.
from from being high. That's what
Yeah.
my highness feeling. And then when I do an edible, I feel that like throughout my body.
Which do you prefer?
Uh, as far as like which high, I would say the body. I mean, it might as well be both, right? More is better. But I would say I do like smoking because it's like I want to be high right now and I want to be done in a couple hours. And
Oh,
when you
is an
like
edible
take a gummy,
longer?
oh yeah.
Is it
Take
really?
a, it is. And I also find that at the end of an edible, I get like just crazy tired. I need to go to bed.
Shit, when I used to smoke weed, I would get crazy tired 3 hours later, and I'm like, I'm taking a fucking nap. Deuces. And it wasn't deuces, it was unos. I was like, fuck you, I'm going to bed. But I was a dick when I was high.
Oh yeah.
So, I argued more, even more than I do now. And I used to smoke a lot of weed. A lot. So, but that was 20 something odd years ago. 30 something odd years ago almost now. So, no, definitely 30 years. Because I stopped smoking it when I was 21 and I'm 49 now. So,
Damn.
I'm going through and reskinning all my spells
are you really?
Yep.
In Navyshla?
in D&D Beyond, so that they'll show up as renamed in Navyshla.
Awesome. I love it. I love
They're
it.
the same things, but
Any
it will make it
ability,
harder for Winston to guess.
any ability any of you have that you would like to reskin for Navyshla, please do it. As long as the mechanics stay the same, I don't care. If you're going to change the mechanics, please talk to me. Actually, if you're going to change the names, tell me anyway, just because for no reason. I'm not going to say gay, nay, or anything. I don't care. I just want to know because it's fun.
Well, I have a number of things I want to talk to you about. Maybe when you're a little more sober, just for fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to me now. I'm a fucking asshole right now. Has anybody listened? Or wait, I know Ed is. Are you guys Critical Role people at all?
Yeah, but I usually like 5-10 episodes behind.
Okay.
I'm 1 or 2 behind right now.
The most recent episode that dropped in podcast form, so last Thursday is a week behind, is porn. And it's funny as shit. They decide to shoot a. They pretend, in order to avoid combat, they pretend that they're shooting an OnlyFans porn session.
I'm not there yet.
And I had tears shooting out of my eyes when Ashley Johnson's like, I'm just a fawn naked, standing in the middle, open for whatever. And like they don't go any further. That's the most sexual they get. Everything else is like a joke, and it's so funny. They have scrying balls that they're pretending to be cameras, and they're like, "This is for only heroes." That scry, and I just had tears. I was laughing so hard. By the way, it didn't work. They ended up going to combat. Spoilers.
I've taken a deep dive into Dimension 20 games recently and enjoying the hell out of them.
Those are paywall, though, aren't they?
I haven't looked if the older campaigns are on YouTube. I'm watching them through the paywall site because I was already a subscriber.
Okay.
In one of them, he said it was an older campaign. And he said this is all on YouTube. I don't know if it still is.
Okay. That's the guy who DM'd their like Calamity shit.
Calamity, yeah. Yep.
I should try listening to something else.
I tried listening to them and I just kind of got bored with it. So
Critical Role or
no, the Dimension 20.
I actually am subscribing to the Dolmenwood with Alex, but I haven't caught into it enough yet. But I want to because there are people I know playing. So, but he's podcasting Dolmenwood, so I'm trying. I'm giving it a go. Trying to boost their.
It looks like 3 of their campaigns are on YouTube.
Okay.
I just finished watching Fantasy High, which is their first one, and it's really fun to watch them learn to play the game because they don't know going into it, and Brennan does, and he's teaching them how to play as they go along, and it's really fun.
Okay.
They're playing high school kids at an adventuring academy, and it's really funny.
And that's where Evergard came from as well, right?
She played in a couple of their games. She's not one of their regulars.
Oh, okay.
But she did DM A Court of Fey and Flowers, which is a more recent campaign. I don't see that on YouTube, but it was really entertaining. That's what I subscribed for because I watched part of one of those and thought this is really cool. I want to see the rest, so I subscribed.
Nice.
And so then now I'm watching through their. I'm watching actually the sophomore year of Fantasy High, which it's just they're fun to watch. They're fun players.
Is it delightful? Because that's the word I'm looking for.
I would say I'm often delighted.
Okay. I don't know why I feel like I'm the judge of that.
It took me a session or two to come to like the players. At first, a couple of them turned me off, but giving it enough time, I have really come to enjoy them.
I did not like Sam when I first started watching Critical Role. So
yeah.
Oh, why not?
I thought he was what you would call the distracting player.
Yep.
Like, and as a DM, I'm like, okay, you're funny, but you're fucking derailing the game. And then watching him like add to the game and going, okay, look, if you take the good, you take the bad, and the bad even is good after a while. But the first time I listened to it, I'm like, why are you such a fucking troll? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I had the same reaction early on.
I also,
And it wasn't until he turned it on its head with Scanlan when he revealed there was a deeper person there.
Yep.
That it really landed. That like his characters feel really one-dimensional, and they're not.
No. In fact, they're
They're-
often the deepest characters at the table. Like,
Yeah,
it's a misjudgment, maybe, but
but it's intentional. He does it on purpose.
he does. And there's not a shit player at that table, because there's a couple times I'm like, Ashley, learn how to play the fucking game. And then
And she doesn't know mechanics very well at all.
and then
She's
she'll
been terrible at mechanics forever.
and then she'll do something that makes me go, I wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah, her role playing's phenomenal.
As Fern, like,
Yeah.
there's
I like
never
that.
been a better character she's played than Fern, and I loved Yasha.
I saw something
Yasha.
recently of.
See, I
of
would have
the-
loved Yasha more if she would have been at the table.
Right,
all the
right.
time.
I think we
Yeah.
all would have loved Yasha more if she could have been there the whole time. I agree.
I saw a clip recently from campaign 1 in which they're in the Feywild and they meet a satyr who's basically talks about how I don't know why I stole it. It was there, so I took it, and it was labeled the birth of Fern, and it shows Ashley's reaction to it and how much she enjoyed the moment, and it absolutely is. She just created Fern 6 years ago in that session.
Probably true. And she, like, to her credit, never backs down.
No.
That's the courage of an actor.
So
right?
many times Matt will make it abundantly clear this is going to be bad for you, and nope, I'm doing it.
Well, I love Travis in the background going, do it.
Yeah, Travis's best quality is that he is everybody's biggest fan.
Yep. Well, Liam too. Liam said that, like, no, you still fucking do it. I don't care that I need to do it.
But Liam's cheerleading is subtle, and Travis is always just out there, just cheering for everyone. And I've said so many times that Travis is a phenomenal example of positive masculinity. That he is like everything about him is hyper masculine and yet not even remotely toxic. He is everybody's biggest fan. And I think that he's somebody, and I mean, they even said when they first started, he wondered if he should play, and Laura told him, no, people seeing a guy like you play will be really good for people.
Yeah.
To see a guy like you do this will be really good for this hobby, and will be really good for fans. And he did it, and he loves it.
Well, he's the CEO, and
Mhm.
Why was it good for fans?
to see
Because
somebody who's a
to-
football player.
To see a
basically.
jock dive in and play the game and play it wholeheartedly.
To be a nerd and to be the I mean, it's not just being a nerd, because there's a lot of shit about being a nerd that's not good, right? Like there's so much underdogginess about being a nerd that actually leads to shitty behavior. And there's good things about being a jock too. And one of the things that Travis shows is how, like, my son, as a swimmer, sits at the end of the lane for the guy who's the worst swimmer on the team and cheers him through every lane. And it's not just because he's my kid, although
He's a good person.
he's a good human, but it's not just him sitting there either. It's the whole team, right? Like,
Yeah.
the team, there's something about cheering on your team that's a great thing too, and that's, I think, what Travis brings to Critical Role that I don't think you see nerds sitting there cheering on people while they're rolling dice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that comes from the sports mentality. From we cheer on our teammates, we cheer on the thing that's gonna make the exciting thing, and that's I think the thing about Travis is he doesn't give a shit about what the role is. He just wants to see the next thing that happens, you know. And I love that
But he
too.
is
That's
going
how I
to
play
he's
too, by the
going to
way.
cheer for the role. He's going to cheer the successes. He's going to be there with the failures.
He's also going to laugh at the failures.
He's
So
100% invested, and that's such a talent.
It just seems to me that he wants to see what Matt Mercer is going to come up with next.
I agree, but
Fail.
Yeah, I think that's true.
If you fail the role, if you succeed the role, it doesn't matter. Matt's going to come up with something.
Well, he's cheerleading Matt just as much as he's cheerleading
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I think he's not only cheerleading, he's cheerleading the story, right? Like, and
Yeah,
I see
Matt's coming up with a great story.
one of the things I love about Sam is like, look, if you're a halfling, you get to re-roll a 1. That's in the rules.
Yeah, not Sam though.
But it does say May.
May. It does say May. And Sam's like, fuck that. The dice said this. And he does not like arguing the dice at all. And I think that's amazing. I'm not sure I would do it. I don't think I would. But I really love the choice that Sam makes. Like, he's just like, no, the dice said this, I'm going to live with it.
Well, and he based a lot of it on a character who had been a goblin for a long time. And so
he also laughs and cries with those dice, both.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he cried when he had to cast Counterspell against Vecna and couldn't save Vax. Like, cried, tears running down his face. But he also laughs when something hysterical happens. Like, he accepts the fate. I love that. I love everything about Critical Role. I really do. I don't understand personally as a person. I don't understand animosity to Critical Role. I don't.
I think it's more towards their fans. I think some of their fans are
fans
basically
are
like,
douchey.
what would Matt Mercer do? That's the only way D&D can be played.
Yeah, I agree.
Not everybody's Matt Mercer. Like, nobody's Matt Mercer.
It's
They're
hard.
not going to come up with like the things he comes up with.
I think people get like sick of hearing it. It's kind of like, you know, sports teams that win championship every year. Like, you get bored about hearing about it.
Well, and he's the first person to say.
I think you're right.
He's the first person to say nobody should compare themselves to him.
Yeah.
You're the best DM your table has because you're the table's DM.
And there's so many people that like only know D&D, like don't play and just watch, and then like so they're like, oh, you play? Yep. Oh, so do you do this? No. Well, on Critical Role they do. Okay, but you're not even playing, so why the hell do you give a shit how I'm playing?
Look, I'm gonna say this about that, and I agree with you, Chris. By the way, I agree with you on everything you just said. As in particular, the equivalency to sports teams, like he's an amazing DM. We're not all gonna be that good. You're gonna have to take your little league DM that you're able to get. He's really fucking good. He's really, really good. Also, you're not going to get Liam.
Yeah. You don't have his players either.
Picking how to play a Battlemaster fighter. Liam. Seriously, have you heard anybody describe fighter the way Liam is doing Orem in the current campaign? I sit there and my jaw drops open because that's my favorite subclass. Fighter, Battlemaster. I love it. It's my favorite class.
Yeah, I try to be half of what he does.
It's incredible.
And he did the same thing with Wizard.
Exactly. I'm trying to
know
do Caliber.
His spell components so well to say, I pull out this thing and I do this with it and describe it in a way that makes it engaging. To make
Yes.
spell components engaging,
Yes,
that's enormous.
to make it feel but also now, okay, so you got Liam doing that, and Liam's crazy good at that. You got Matt describing that, but the fact that everybody else at that table gives Liam space to do that,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get that from every table.
And they do that because Liam gives them space to do everything they want to do.
Exactly.
You compare it to Orion in the very first sessions of their campaign, where he would take all of that time, but he wouldn't give anybody else anything.
Right.
Because Orion and Liam are similar in the degree they want to take that time. But Orion never gave it to anyone else. And Liam is really good at giving it to others.
That's honestly, like, I love playing with the people I play with. Tonight, nobody here tried to shit on anybody else's time that I saw. When I started throwing something to a player, everybody let the player do that. Now, are we as good as Critical Role? No, we're not. I'm not as good as Matt Mercer.
Also didn't have like the meeting ahead of time to discuss some main points on how this
Do you
game
think
would
they
go.
do that? I don't know that they do
I don't
that.
think they script it because there's
I
obviously
think
a
they
lot of
do.
improv, but at some level they have to like storyboard it, a little bit of it, because it is just so smooth and so
Well,
yeah.
now
There
it's
is
really
there's
don't-
edited.
definitely storyboarding
I
and
really don't think they do. I think that they are all good enough actors that they are all yes-anding. And I think that having done at a level with people that are really good, that's what you get. That you get compelling,
works out
complete
too
stories.
often. It just works out too well too often, in my
I,
opinion.
I don't
I
know.
disagree.
I'm with Ed on this one, but um, I think they're just lucky. Um, because I don't think they're actually storyboarding. I think there are a lot of people there who are yes-anding at a level that most D&D players can't do, and the reason
I
they
also think Matt is prepped to a degree that most DMs can't.
well, he spends all day fucking doing it.
Yeah, he spends all week. Because he can, because that can be his job. So he can spend as much time as he needs to, and he is meticulous enough that he has
Well,
all of these eventualities planned.
he's
But he's also so quick on his feet that
yes,
he'll react.
because god damn, I spent a lot of time yesterday thinking that there's a possibility you guys will head north. And there was, I just I kept hearing Percy's voice in my head going, there is no fucking way you guys are heading north. There's no way you're heading north. And yet I went, there's a possibility they will. I better prep it.
See, you got it all wrong. I'm the guy that would go north because it takes it to a different area that you're not expecting.
No, you kept saying there's we have this money we're going to have to renegotiate, is what I saw you in chat. I'm just going off what I saw in chat. So you're like, we're going to have to renegotiate the terms of the deal, and you guys were mostly interested in the shit that Delia had, right? Which, by the way, is the most interesting thing, the most interesting bait on the board. And yet,
Well, and it sounds like several of us had that hook
yeah,
going in.
yeah. And yet, for some reason, I had it in my head that you would all ignore every single fucking hook I put out there, and you would head north anyway. So I made sure I had the north area ready.
The dig site.
Yeah, yeah. And I have everything ready along the tiller hook, and I had everything ready along the pathway you guys went, except one thing. And I decided not to do it because I thought it was a boring idea, and I think I'm still right. Is if you guys went west, I was like, I better have random encounters ready. By the way, should somebody like Winston's still in here. Should somebody message him that we're just bullshit?
I thought about booting him, just kicking him from the Discord so he's not like connected.
I'll just message him.
But then I thought he might pop back in at some point because he does that sometimes.
He does. I'm gonna message him. We're just shooting the shit. You're welcome to drop again. But anyway, I prepped all that. Sorry, I'm typing my message. But I'm drunk as shit.
Well, and I think to what you're saying, I think Matt preps all of that too, so that he's prepared.
He has to because he's got he's got 3D maps ready,
and he preps beyond that. I think he's prepped for like the nth degree of what they might choose to do, and he's talented enough to know what paths they might pursue.
Some of the most interesting shit, and anybody, oh man, Percy, do you DM?
No.
Chris, I know you DM from time to time, right?
Chris is a really good DM.
Chris, I imagine Chris is a very good DM. Chris is not listening.
I'm listening.
Okay. But
just not picking up that compliment.
No, I'm not gonna take that compliment. But you can tell when Matt hasn't prepared and is just rolling with it. And and I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean like it's impressive.
Because he still rolls with it in an authoritative, confident way that
I don't know if anybody remembers this, but there is no doubt in my mind that the guy who makes black powder in season 1 is improv. There's no way that guy's not improv.
Yeah. Do you know how I know that they don't storyboard? I think it was the last campaign.
Which one?
Season 2, yeah. They had a water combat, and he had this whole thing prepared, and Cassius, or whatever his name was,
Caduceus
did his like water wall and just destroyed the ship, and that was the end of the combat. And if they were storyboarding, that would have come up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There are so many times that you look at Matt's face and you know they didn't talk about this ahead of time. My favorite being the hag in season 2.
The cupcakes, yes. And the dice working.
Yeah. The dice doing what the dice are supposed to do.
Now, they could have storyboarded that, where they came up with the idea, and they're just really good actors, too, so you have to keep that in mind. If they were going to do it right...
I wouldn't have enjoyed it near as much.
I was going to say that, reading the face of actors, but...
Sure.
No, you're right. That could have all been acted out. I don't think so. And
it could have gone either way with the dice roll. Like if he would have made the save, then all right, we're fighting the hag.
Man, that cupcake roll. I made so many people watch that go, this is why D&D is exciting. It's not combat. Combat can be exciting, but no more so than an amazing use of an exploration or RP spell or action. I don't want to rely, and I know I apologize 1,000 times to you guys that I didn't have enough combat set, but I don't want to rely on combat to have a good RP game. I don't.
See, I want combat if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, like don't throw a bunch of bandits at me because you're worried that we haven't fought anything.
Because you need to squeeze a combat in. Yeah.
If it's just RP the whole session, whatever. If
by the way,
there's a
the only
reason
reason
for the
for
combat,
tonight was you rolled a 1.
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's great. Like,
But
and I think that should be there as a mechanic because
also,
there are dangers.
I foreshadowed the shit out of the fact that the Quaglani surrounding the town. So the fact that you guys ran into Quaglani in a place that wasn't normally traversed makes sense. You might have actually just saved the town.
Or at least several of the citizens.
Well, that's fair. That's a fair.
Like,
that's a fair qualification.
at this point, we've killed 10 Quilani.
Yeah,
That's half their force.
roughly. Yep. But none of you have run into a mage or a priest Quaglani yet, which is what actually wiped out Mulder Court, where Blum Splitter is from. So he knows what could happen. They might not have sent a full force down. That's all I'm saying. You know what? The thing that I like is the bad guys are a bunch of humans. I like that it's not just like marauding orcs. It's the bad guys are a bunch of shithead humans. Like I kind of like that. That's one of the things.
Humans are the worst.
We are kind of the worst. I told my kid that today. She's like, I don't want to have kids, and I'm like, I don't blame you. we're as a species, we kind of suck. Like, anyway.
We somehow got it in our head that we can do whatever we want.
Yep.
And we'll fix it.
Yep.
But I'm not really sure that that's true at this point.
It's one of the things I like about my religion. Judaism teaches you're very, very smart. You're still an asshole. So, well, it doesn't say you're still an asshole. It says you don't get to. You're very, very smart. Humans are very, very smart. You don't get to do whatever you want. Think about what you're doing. That's what I like about my religion.
All right, so I can subclass into fighter, rogue, sorcerer, or warlock.
Oh, wait. Are you third level subclassing?
Well, no, I'm multi-classing.
And Ed, of course, will not divulge anything. And
Nope.
Chris,
I won't even say what class it started with.
You staying barbarian?
Yeah, I'll stay barbarian.
I love that you dropped a little britches lore into Navyshla.
Yeah, I like that too.
Get it? He didn't want to be a barbarian, so he changed his name to Long Bridges. Stupid.
I thought you did an amazing job with your story tonight. That's what reminded me of Reward Inspiration. I thought it was a great, when you first explained to me the storyline, I was like, that doesn't track. And then when you did it tonight, it tracked beautifully. And I was like, God, that's amazing. I love it. Like, if my father had been more like my grandfather, I wouldn't have been imprisoned.
Yeah, it was really well done.
It felt powerful to me. I was like, Jesus. I got emotionally invested in it a little bit. It was awesome.
Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna go live with Grandpa.
He lets me smoke weed. Fuck you.
No rules at Grandpa and Grandma's house.
Oh man, my grandma. This is a little white's trash story here.
All right.
My grandma would forget to get us soda. She would have all my cousins sleep over, and I would love going because I had all older cousins. So, I would love to hang out with all these older kids. And but she wouldn't have soda, so she would just let us have wine coolers, and I'd be
No.
like 8, drinking a wine cooler.
I wish Tony were here. This is what I'm telling him. Wisconsin man is just the same as Florida man.
Just not as loud about it.
No.
It's barely anything. And I remember talking about drinking fuzzy navels, and my mom was like, "What? That's the name? That's the name?"
Grandma said it's sparkling Pepsi. It was Bartles and James. That's so Wisconsin. God damn. Were you
Once
born
when
in?
Leela was like 2, we were at dinner and my mom had a Cosmo with an orange in it, and she pulled it out of the drink and she asked Leela if she wanted it, and I said no, she can't have that, and my mom said why? You just pulled it out of a Cosmo.
What did your
She's 2 years old.
did your
And
mom recognize?
she did then. She went, oh my God, you're right. Oh shit. Like, what happens when I'm not there?
Oh, your mom's giving her a full on Manhattan. It's what's happening. You can't sleep here.
Because our moms come from a generation where they just put a little brandy on your gums and you go to bed.
In my family, it was bitters. Bitters.
Bitter.
All right. First off, not delicious. Second off, 50% ABV. The brain damage.
This kid's fucking loaded.
I, who knows? I could have been a fucking rocket scientist.
He knows this, but for Christmas at my in-laws, they have a cooking competition based on the ingredient of the year, and then we all. So this year it was mint, and it's chosen by the winner of the previous year, and it was mint. And we used to have people who would like make drinks, whatever the flavor was. They would make like an alcoholic beverage with it. And well, now they decided that everyone's fucking kids should be in it too. So I was just like, I'm still making a drink. So um I
Mojitos?
made ice cream grasshoppers,
Oh.
Ooh, that sounds good.
and I was handing them out to the kids, and they're like, "What are
Oh,
you doing? What are you doing?" And I'm
that's not
like,
great.
"How can they vote? The rule has always been, how can you vote if you haven't tried everything?" And I said,
No.
"How can you vote if you haven't tried anything?" And they're just like, that's good. That's fine. They were not very strong. There was
That
like so much ice cream in there. But
that
still, it was just funny watching like an 8-year-old drink like a grasshopper.
seems like a Wisconsin thing to do.
Yep.
That is why we represent 70% of the alcoholic population of America.
At Thanksgiving this year, we all sat down to eat, and I had a glass of wine, and Leela was asking me about it, and I said, "You can try it." And she looked at me just dumbfounded. It's like, "Really? I can try it?" And I let her try it, and she went, "Oh, that's awful." I'm like, yeah, it would be to you.
Well, I mean, in my like when I was doing my master's degree, which was in personality and identity development, but it was also in counseling. Um, the one of the things that was talked about was the fact that coffee and alcohol actually taste awful to kids, and the point made was is we train our brains to like these things that actually our taste buds tell us are poison. And I said, actually, at the time, which was actually a shut down comment, was, "Can you explain onions?" Like,
Right?
because the fact is onions are actually poisonous to us. Um, so uh, onions actually
Delicious.
have been shown to actually have a lot of positive impacts on our physiognomy. Actually, so has red wine and caffeine. Uh,
Even
so
beer is good for settling the stomach until you have 12 of them. That
there's
shit's in the Bible, so you know it's true.
anything can be okay for you, but like
A lot of things that are bad for you in excess are really good for you in moderation.
right, and a lot of things that people think are awesome for you are awful for you in excess. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, fuck, you can kill yourself drinking too much water if you really go after it.
you really actually can make yourself you
Oh.
if you do the Century Club, right, and you're drinking an ounce of beer per minute for 100 minutes, you are less likely to do harm to yourself drinking beer than you are water. So, it's an interesting little.
Why is that?
When I worked at the halfway house, we had a guy who
Why is
was
that?
addicted to
Yeah.
water.
Because you can actually, your body actually metabolizes the alcohol faster than water.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the water's sitting in you, and you can actually end up overhydrating on the water. Meanwhile, the alcohol's moving through you really fast.
That's why you have to pee so much.
Right. And the peeing actually helps you.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the water is not signaling that, and you end up slowly creating a little bit of harm for yourself. That said, neither's a really great idea. So.
Yeah, I mean that's too much of anything, but
Right. Yeah, I have a friend who actually found that out the hard way. She's like, "Well, I'll do it with water with you," and she ended up. As it turns out, not a great idea. Period. So, shot of anything for a minute, including water. I
A
imagine.
shot. Oh,
I imagine it'd be
but
worse with milk. But
have you heard of the you can't drink a gallon of milk in an hour without throwing it up?
I think that's been proven to like fairly conclusively.
I guess it's like possible, but when I was a sophomore, I did not get very far. And it was also chocolate milk, which
Yeah. No.
well, the thing is, most of the time you're not even trying that unless you're a little drunk first.
It's true. Wait, Chris,
Most people that are trying the milk challenge are not doing it sober.
Yeah, Chris,
I-
were you 100% sober when you tried it?
I was not.
I was not.
I was not. I left Quick Trip with 2 gallons of milk and like all the fucking snacks in the world. We did not touch those snacks. We did not get to those snacks.
How much did you vomit?
I actually did not vomit.
Not a
What happened
gallon?
was I got about halfway into the gallon and I just couldn't drink anymore. If I tried, my stomach would just be like whoop and like just like try to get it up. So I never actually threw up. I just would not take in any more chocolate milk.
You were like, I'm
Yeah.
done.
That
Like
sounds right.
15 minutes left and I could not get it in. My buddy did throw it up, and it was okay because it was his house, but he was in his garage. Like he made no effort to do anything with it, so just like chocolate milk.
That probably got real nasty pretty quick.
Yeah. Yepper dapper. Just go to YouTube and share your screen.
Yeah.
I have this pause the wrong way. Did you guys hear me peeing?
Nope.
Okay, good.
I mean,
All right.
I wasn't listening for it.
No, I know. Everybody would want to, but
I think your microphone cuts out a lot of things because earlier you were apologizing for the dogs. We couldn't hear them at all.
Oh man.
Yeah, I didn't hear him at all.
They were crazy. All right, I want to hear a thing called love, Chris.
What? Me? I think
Just put him
karaoke.
on the spot.
They had karaoke at Sully's for the first time ever on Thursday.
I want to go to Sully's tomorrow night so bad.
Oh,
we have a game.
I know, and so I'm not going to go. But it's the first time I've wanted to go to a bar.
Man,
in a long time.
How long does the game go for? 'Cause
I would like to go to a bar for sure.
long enough that I will not be able to see my friend Dev Munson play. Do you know Dev, Chris?
I don't think so.
He was in the President's band.
Oh, Dev.
Dev Munson.
Yes, I do know him. He was a year older than me in high school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. His kid and my kid are like best friends. So like his band broke up and now he's doing solo shit. He's playing at Sully's tomorrow night. I'm like, go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
I mean, if you really want to,
Why?
you could
Why?
tell everybody we're going to give it a miss.
no.
Sully's, I gotta tell you, I don't know who the manager is, but I can tell they don't follow sports because they schedule the damnedest things at the wrong time. Like
Oh,
during the Packer game, they were closed for a company Christmas party for their own company. It's like you schedule it during Packer game? What the fuck are you thinking? So now like tomorrow is like the big playoff night and they have like a guy singing? Like what the fuck are you guys doing?
Sully doesn't care apparently.
They don't. And that's honestly why like when I do go in there for Packer games, it's like empty. And it's like, yeah, they're all at places that like hand out shots when there's touchdowns and like
Yeah, and I don't want to do shots when there's touchdowns. I want to go.
you can say no, but like I've actually like had like when they first opened, like somebody they had a jukebox going during a Packer game, and I was just like, yeah, like oh, I guess it wasn't when they first opened because they were opened in the summer, but I was just like, this is a Packer game going on. It's once a week, only like 16 weeks a year. Like, can we just listen to the Packer game? And they were like, yeah, we'll just wait for the song to go. And then people just kept putting money in, and I was just like, unplug it so that they can't do that anymore. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
They don't want to do. They don't want to do sports bar.
And yet, that's the only reason people are there. Like, when I go there on Wednesdays, I go there at like 10 because I don't want to be there when everyone's there for the Bucks game.
Wait a minute. So everybody is going to this bar.
Sports.
Is the bar adequately populated?
Yep.
And yet they are not following standard sport broadcast procedures.
Correct. So then people who are there are like, what are you doing?
But they're still there.
What do you mean they're still there?
People are still going.
They're still there. They're still at Sully's.
Sully's is still making money, so they're doing it right.
Yeah, because the cost to broadcast those things is enormous. So if people are still going to Sully's and he doesn't have to pay that broadcast fee, he's doing okay.
To have charter communication on?
No, you actually have to pay a tavern fee to broadcast NFL games.
They just have a.
No, they can't. Taverns have a different license.
I watch hockey games. I watch Bucks games there.
Yeah.
I watch Packer games there.
Sure. All that stuff.
And they half time they don't know. I just say, hey, there's a football game on. You turn it on, and they turn it on.
They turn it on, sure, because they're probably willing to take a risk. But if they're not paying an NFL fee, because every one of those leagues charge a fee to show it at the tavern. They do. I know this for a fact. It's true. And so
that was baked in some charter business
fee. It sure isn't. And that's actually like one of the fucking rooks of running a tavern. For sure, it is not. I know it is not because we tried to actually show shit at Marion and we couldn't because you have to pay a tavern fee. It's enormous, and the taverns will protect it. If they pay it, they're protecting their rights. And I'm not down on them. They're right to do it. They're right to protect their rights. They're paying it. They don't want anybody else to pay it. Or they don't want anybody else who's not paying it to show it. So, like churches, every time you say about a church getting sued for showing, it's always the tavern league that's suing them because they pay a premium to show those sporting events. And when a church shows it, the tavern fee goes, hey, NFL, you said we'd have exclusive rights. So, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. because that shit brings people into the bar, right? So that's capitalism. That's why I want to move to Canada. Until I watched this murder mystery series set in Quebec, and then I went, no, fucking I don't want to move to Canada either. Sorry, person.
What's wrong with Canada?
Canada is beautiful.
Oh, wait, we're cold.
Every time I've been to Canada, I have found it to be a lovely place.
Yep.
But
When you've been allowed in.
I have actually had Canada deny me access. So yeah, I have.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I actually have a State Department file. Anytime I go to Canada, I have to declare that I am a state suspect.
Why?
It's so dumb. Because
The good story, though.
because when I was 21 years old, I tried to play up like I was a cigarette. Like,
You mouthed off to a customs guy.
I mouthed off to a customs guy and about having more cigarettes that I was planning to sell in Canada, and then they tore my friend's car apart, and we ended up like in all kinds of trouble. And like I was being a total asshole, and now every time, as a nearly 50-year-old man, if I try to go over to Canada, the questions always end up with me going, yes, I have been denied access to Canada, and then I have to go into a special room and talk to people.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was a dick as a 21-year-old. I was
You should see if Corey can clear that up for you.
I should see if Corey can help me out
Get that expunged.
when he does his Canada tour of duty, right?
He could probably hook you up now.
Yeah, I don't think he would. I don't think Corey would help me at all. He'd be like, "You're a dick. You can fucking live with that."
He could get you to somebody who could fix it.
Yeah, I have nothing but respect for Canada.
Last time I was in Canada, my cousin had to like write and request entrance into Canada because he had a DUI.
I was a total asshole. So anytime I get pulled over, I'm like, yes, that's completely understandable. I was an asshole. But Canada has done nothing but be nice to me. I was an American asshole.
It's what we do.
Canada is got a reputation of being nice. Except just like the United States, so I'm not casting shade without casting it on my own country. As it applies to native peoples. But we were far worse. So
Yeah, our native people are jerks too. Is that what you're saying?
no,
I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around.
nope.
No, we shit on them more.
Yeah, we shit on them way more than the Canadians did. But the Canadians weren't awesome either. So,
How is that true?
really?
We let the natives arm themselves. They're probably better armed than the police are.
Maybe, but they were
Well,
also,
they might need to be.
They might need to be after being kidnapped and forced into Christian schools for 75 years. You know.
I have no comment on that.
And all of the murders and abductions and things that are left uninvestigated because they're indigenous peoples.
Yeah. But not shitting on Canada because that's also true in the United States. Also 100% true in the United States. But every time people tell me I'm going to move to Canada, it's so much better. I'm like, I think it's more polite.
Yeah, it's not much different.
I think it's about the same, but more polite and colder.
See, my thing is like I would
But they
probably
have better
be.
mountains. They do have better mountains.
We got pretty good mountains.
No, Canadian Rockies superior to American Rockies.
Well, I've
Great
never been in
Tetons
the
are pretty
Canadian
beautiful.
Rockies.
Why do you say that?
Oh, just I mean, I'm only going off of aerial photos because I've only been in the American Rockies, but Canadian Rockies are just like slightly bigger, honestly.
Well, sizes and everything.
Yeah, but size is a lot in mountains. I don't know. I think Canada's pretty fucking cool. Every part of that I've been to Canada has been pretty fucking cool. Like, and
You got butter tarts.
I've only been to 3 to 5, maybe 6 places in Canada, but the places I've been, I'm like pretty cool place. And my wife's been to more places, and she would say I'll double down on that. Everything I've seen about everything I've seen in Canada, I have thought pretty great place. So, and by that I mean I've seen Windsor, Toronto, London. I have been to was it Winnipeg? Yeah, Winnipeg. But my wife has been to Vancouver and Quebec as well, and so we sort of were like thumbs up on Canada. Cold. Don't want to live there. It's too cold. But pretty. Nice people. I don't know. That's all I will say about it. Which is the stereotypical shit to say about it. But I've been to Toronto like 5 times.
They got good, clean water. We want it.
The thing that we always heard in Detroit about Toronto was that it was always clean. Like the cleanest city you've ever been to. And then my wife went to Vancouver, and she's like, "You said Canadian cities were so clean, but Vancouver was fucking shitty." I don't know. I'm just saying Toronto
Well,
was.
and saying that it's the cleanest city you've ever been to when your comparison is Detroit.
Yeah,
Shit, right?
yeah, that's kind of a rough go to begin with, but also just because Toronto's clean doesn't mean Vancouver is. Doesn't mean that all of Canada is clean, you know. But Toronto just had this reputation of being this really clean city, and then I looked, um, like probably like 5 or 6 years ago, I was thinking about a statistical problem, and I used the cleanliness of Toronto as an example, uh, and the the question isn't necessarily whether or not Canada has laws that make itself cleaner. It's the culture of Toronto itself is to actually have a clean city. Anyway, it doesn't have anything to do with Canada. It's just Toronto. So
When I was in LA to see Isaac and go on my booze cruise with my other D&D peeps.
yeah,
LA is a fucking dirty place, man. Just
is it?
fucking uh-huh.
I've never been to LA.
There are more garbage bags or like grocery bags than like blades of grass in that place. Like it's pretty gross.
Oh, man. I don't
The
want to live.
highways are especially bad.
I just don't want to live in a place that's hot and dirty. That just sounds
Mhm.
awful. I don't know. I think Canada's going to be like the green and pleasant land of the next 50 years. Like, firstly, what province are you in? Saskatchewan or
Alberta.
you're in Alberta?
Alberta,
Okay.
yeah.
I wouldn't like the lack of state rights in Canada, and because as Percy probably would, well, I don't know if you would agree or not, but like I would not want to live in like country Canada where it's like basically like Wyoming and not have like access to guns like you would need access in Wyoming. Like near Wyoming, like every farmer in the world has a fucking pistol on their belt, and yet based on Canadian laws that would be illegal.
But they all have guns. They just don't carry them around because you don't have to.
Where do you keep a pistol when you're a rancher in Alberta?
I guess on your well, you're supposed to have it locked up. But that being said, I doubt that most ranchers do.
Yeah. Like if a rancher in Alberta runs into a coyote, what are they doing?
They shoot it.
Well,
Yeah.
they shoot it with what? Because their guns are supposed to be all locked up.
Okay. Whether they're supposed to be and whether they actually are two different things. And it's not like the police are going to every ranch and checking.
Right. And the police are elected from people. Oh, who's joining us?
Hey, Paul,
It's Bruno.
you know you're streaming on Discord or Twitch, right?
We are? Oh shit! We have been doing this whole thing. Oh shit! I never